Everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Krista here doing your weekly reading for the sign of Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is for the week of November 14th through November 21st. With the moon currently in Leo, going into Virgo in a couple of days, I'm looking at themes of talents and opportunities for your general reading this week. Whatever is most prominent in your life, I encourage you to take these messages and apply them to, and hopefully you find them helpful and healing. So what does Gemini need to know about talents and opportunities this week? I just find this funny because not much is changing for you, which is funny on one level, but on the other hand, it's like, how long are you going to go with the flow on something here? It's probably going to take a crisis here to switch things up for you, or to come to terms with anything in particular with regard to a general issue. This week in particular, of course, related to talents and opportunities, and in a general manner this week for you. If everything is going tickety-boo and you don't see any upset or problems, that's always a nice way, okay? Listen, it's a really nice way to go through it the week, to go through it your life. You don't have any upsets, you don't have any problems, no concerns, no lessons to learn, right? But that itself is a problem. If you are currently the same person you were 10 or 20 years ago, that's a problem. You really need to grow. You really need to grow as a person. You really need to grow as a spirit. And there is an opportunity here for you, something that you seem to be avoiding. And, you know, I can see why. I get it, right? We all want to avoid something that's a little bit uncomfortable. And even though humans are highly adaptable, we tend to be as equally resistant to change. But like I said, something is going to be around the corner sooner than later that you're going to have to address and really face in a particular way for you here. So it might be a good week this time, Gemini, to come to terms with what you might switch up if you had a chance to do that. Going with the flow is a really nice way to address anything in life, frankly. So I don't think what's going on this week is going to be upsetting. But like I said, I think that you don't want to be in the position to come to terms with something, or I remember last week, for example, it was, reach out, make that phone call. You don't want it to be an emergency before you reach out or make something known, even if it's something as simple as, I love you, or I appreciate you, or even I'm sorry, that type of thing. Because you've been floating here for quite some time, sort of just getting by here, and not always able to sit with yourself really easily. So you might find a lot of distraction or find a lot of reason for distraction, but there is something that's calling out for healing. So let's look at these in depth. Happy represents you this week. Again, we're sort of going with the flow. We're really happy, really content with yourself. Not a bad place to be. I'm not picking on you. It's not a bad place to be. It's not a bad place to project or to go about your life. But as I said, there is an opportunity that's being missed here. And listen, I'm not judging, and really this isn't about judging yourself or being hard on yourself. Of course we want to put off difficult things or things that we would rather not face. But as I said, you don't want it to turn into an emergency here. So it might be a nice week, if not about taking action, about, maybe coming to terms with what needs to be done, or even taking the next couple of days saying, what are some opportunities I have, or what are some opportunities I can create around. We're looking at issues here of healing. We're looking at issues of, going from one phase of your life or theme within a relationship or with yourself or business, anything that's prominent in your life this week, and, taking it to the next level here. So this isn't about, creating actions. This is about creating opportunities that you can sift through and become more comfortable with upcoming changes in your life. You don't want those to catch you off guard or unawares as well. So the reason I'm looking at issues of mending is because we have between worlds is the influence to your current position, and of course mending flew out with it. So we have mending influencing the between worlds. And this is where we're looking at an opportunity to get to the bottom of something, right? This could, when I speak about relationships, recall, I'm always including yourself, the relationship you have with yourself. So in the case that all of your relationships, business, personal, platonic, romantic, everything is tickety-boo here, maybe this is something that you need to look within about, okay? So wherever you're seeing an element of mending or reassurance or even reconciliation here, Gemini, there is an opportunity here for you. And again, I'm going to suggest this is an element of growth, personal growth for you. Could you be putting it off for your own good reasons? Absolutely. Don't judge yourself about this. But again, as I keep saying, you don't want this to be an emergency situation here either. So it might be a nice, even if it's a mental or an emotional exercise for you this week, just saying, if I did have that conversation, or if I did, take myself to task about this one thing I need to forgive myself for, or forgive someone else for, or, within that sort of realm of mending and healing here between you and at least one other person, what would I say? Or what do I expect? Or what am I willing to say sorry for, etc. You could just play that as a little exercise this week. Here and now with your probable outcome. This is about you being still with this, okay? This is about you really having an opportunity or creating an opportunity for yourself. Remember, I'm saying creating as opposed to waiting necessarily. Because waiting for an opportunity is really putting the onus on the other person. The healing has to come from the other person. The sorry has to come from the other person. Or you could be saying to yourself, I will do this when I've reached this goal. And you sort of make up all these moving posts for yourself so that even if you've reached that goal, you'll switch it up again so that you can avoid something. Again, I'm only bringing this up to let you know that this is natural in avoiding things that we want to avoid. This is human nature, okay? Again, however adaptable, and we are incredibly adaptable, however adaptable human beings are, we're still really cozy and comfortable. And we really like that. And we're still resistant to change, maybe even at the same rate that we're adaptable. But like I said, this is a really nice week for you to just experiment with this, okay? Sitting in the here and now, maybe even examining the past, imagining the future while remaining in the present, right? You don't have to be anxious or depressed about this, or you don't have to wait to get to an anxious or depressed place about this when it comes to reconciliation or amending or a healing issue here. But it is a nice exercise all the same. Even if it's to sort of create, like I said, create opportunities for yourself within this vein. You can truly understand the situation better. Even if it's not about problem solving right now, perhaps it's just about understanding a situation better. And you're in such a happy and well-adjusted place. This would be a perfect week to do this, okay, Gemini? Here with To The Sea, this is general energy for the week. This is where I see you just going with the flow. Again, it's not a bad position to be in. It really isn't. In fact, it's another level, frankly. Going with the flow here and happy together between worlds. This is really conscious or a subconscious or even unconscious awareness or understanding that, things are going to change, with soon, right? Whether at your hand or just by virtue of what's going on in your immediate surroundings. So maybe it's a nice week to come to terms with that. And because you come from the well adjustment and a sense of, being able to sort of shrug off hard times and go with what's coming, go with the flow here, it is a perfect week for coming to terms with, being able to even sit outside of a situation so that you're not emotionally attached to it, so you can gain better perspective on it and then do those mental or emotional exercises this week. Here we have two jumpers out of the medicine card deck. We have Otter and Weasel. So I'm looking at an issue with a woman, especially for you here. This is woman medicine. It's a really nice way to be playful, to be flirty, but with regard to the the mending or the healing opportunity for you here in between worlds, this is really about, gaining awareness around what is needed to get to the next level. And it does take introspection. It does take receptivity knowing, timing, things like timing and projection. What does projection look like? What does it mean? How does it feel? And reaction, okay? It's about being aware of who you are, what you're projecting, and how you're in control of yourself and your emotions. And then, of course, with Weasel, we have the ever faithful stealth, right? This sense of what can I get away with? How long can I get by? How long can I sort of put this off? Again, sort of what I was saying at the very beginning there, like, you can probably put this off for as long as you are willing to, frankly. But the bottom line is, what are you getting out of that? If it's just to simply go with the flow here, you're missing out on opportunities for personal growth. You're also missing an opportunity, in my opinion, for leadership, right? For a real sense of, being the first one to say what needs to be said, or the first one to acknowledge what could be done to help heal or mend a situation. Here with signs and then with divine timing, yes, of course, the signs are there. You'll know them. You'll know them because something makes your heart skip fast, or something makes you feel out of sorts, because you're coming at all of this from such a happy and joyful and sort of go with the flow way. Whatever is upsetting that, right? Whatever is making that heart skip or feel a little bit out of sorts, that's going to be the sign. That's where you'll know where the healing and mending needs to occur. And then divine timing is the qualifier to signs. You'll know this week when the right time is to sit here and now. It's a really beautiful week to do that. And again, back to focusing on creating opportunities for healing here as opposed to waiting for opportunities for you here. You have it within you, Gemini. The other person or people or situation are going to love you for it. And like I said, a real opportunity for self-leadership here. I think there's a great deal of self-respect that you can garner from being the first person to make a move here. But like I said, maybe this isn't the week to make a move necessarily. This is the week for you to come to terms with what you need to make a move about. So that is your reading for the week. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did like it, leave a like below. That really helps me out. And if you're not already, subscribe to my channel. It's free to do that. I hope to see you in next week's video. In the meantime, Gemini, take excellent care of yourself. Bye for now.